Welcome to Wine with HR. I'm Jules.
Hey there, I'm Trish.
Lawyers turned HR professionals. Through our company, Monarch Endeavors, we guide employers through their oh shit moments with their employees.
In this podcast, we will discuss some of the most common and commonly frustrating HR problems while enjoying our favorite adult beverage, wine.
So sit back, grab a glass if you choose, and join us as we think about and drink about all things HR. Will they stay or will they go now? If they go, there might be trouble.
If they stay,
hopefully it's not double. Welcome to this episode of Wine with HR. Today we will be discussing state interviews, what they are, some of the benefits they can provide, and some of the challenges that come with them. But before we get to that WHINE of the week, you know what time it is. So Trish, what are we drinking today since we're still in the studio together?
Hello. Okay, so I've been dying to do this. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, hold on.
Perfection.
Right?
Except it didn't have the
Well, that's because these are not carbonated. All right. So for those of you who are wondering what in the heck I am doing, we decided to change it up just a little bit. We're having something called a buzz ball. These are actually wine chillers. The one we're having is Strawberry Rita. And it is made with agave wine and all sorts of delicious natural flavors. I love these. You are supposed to shake them, by the way, before you open them. So I think I might have forgotten that part.
That's okay.
But they're woman-owned. And so I've been a really big fan of these. My brother and I actually discovered these when we were up in northern Michigan visiting my parents. And the little place down the street from my parents, it's called Woody's. It's amazing. They have this little store there as well. And at the store, they had these things. And we were like, excuse me? What are these little colored balls of goodness? For lack of a better way to say it. And so we got one of each of their flavors, and they have strawberry and they have peach and they have apple, which, by the way, we're going to try the apple too. They have pina colada type of a flavor. We're going to try the apple potentially.
Oh no, we're here to serve.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine. So they are delicious. I have already had the strawberry before. So, Julie, I'm going to let you take the first sip.
Okay. These are also loved by college kids across the United States. They do have a potent
that's a good
alcohol by volume. So, do not, under any circumstances, drink these at work.
Yes. Or drink and drive. By the way, Julie and I did mention we are in the studio. We did Uber down here and we will Uber home.
Because we are responsible.
We are responsible.
Ooh, that's quite tasty.
Isn't that delicious?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this one, the strawberry, is 15% alcohol by volume. Oof. So yeah, this is why we Ubered.
Okay, so it is very strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
It does taste like a strawberry margarita, but it's got a little bit of lime, I feel like.
Ooh, yum, I love lime.
And it is not frozen, so it's a little bit easier to drink.
Yes.
And it's not carbonated.
You can put it over ice to make it nice and chill, or put it in your refrigerator, etc.
Yeah, okay. I see why people like these.
Yeah,
I'm gonna slide it on over back to you.
I'm hip like a college kid. Just kidding. I am so not.
On this particular thing. Oh,
right. Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. Sadly, I'm not going to disagree with you. Okay. Right, I'm going to take my sip. Oh, yeah. That's as lovely as I remember. And I'm a big fan of margaritas. And so for me, the strawberry is fantastic. My other favorite is peach. Unfortunately, Gray cannot try it. We gave a shout out to Gray before, our wonderful producer on these couple of episodes. But I definitely gave her one so she could check it out. So trust me,
when she's safely at home.
When she is safely at home, yes. But in the meantime, we'll keep drinking these.
Yes. And since we're giving a shout out to Gray, we also have to give a shout out to Chris, our normal producer, when we are not in the studio, because he is all the fabs.
Yeah, he's all the things. he's the reason you guys don't hear a lot of ums and oh yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, and big shout out to Evergreen Podcast for
hosting us and everything else they do.
Yes. Okay. Now that we got all that out of the way, and we have discussed our buzzballs/agave wine, let's start talking about our WHINE of the week, which again are state interviews. And we always start this off with stat time.
Oh, see, we don't need a theme song. I, by the way, was listening to a couple of our episodes, and clearly I am wanting a theme song for the stats because I keep mentioning it. But, maybe it was just that right there.
Note to Gray and Chris. Editor's note. Okay, hit us with some stats, Trish.
Okay, here we go. These stats are from a 2021 Gallup poll. Nearly half, so approximately 48% of U.S. workers are watching or hunting for job opportunities.
Yeah, think about that.
I mean, what?
Take a look at your team and just
divide it by half.
Yeah. Half of them are looking to leave.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, 52% of voluntarily now, all right, exiting employees say their manager or their organization could have done something to prevent them from leaving the job.
Oof.
Oof is right. Now, I want y'all to look at what your turnover is costing you, and then think about being able to almost immediately half that number.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a rock star now? All right. And then finally, 70% of the variance in team engagement is actually determined by the manager. And for those of you who have listened to our episode on new managers and what you can do, you guys have already heard similar stats that let you know that when it comes to disengagement or engagement of your employees, the manager has a huge responsibility in that.
Yeah. So managers, you are the important peeps.
Yes.
You can be the heroes of these stories.
Wow. So jolly.
Well, that buzzball is hitting Trisha already. Oh.
Julie, what exactly is a stay interview?
Okay, so I am going to use a definition from Richard Finnegan, who wrote a book called The Power of Stay Interviews for Engagement and Retention. This book has been excerpted for SHRM, so they have a bunch of articles on it, which of course we will link in the show notes as we always do.
Yay.
But Richard Finnegan defines a stay interview as a structured discussion a leader conducts with an individual employee to learn specific actions the leader can take to strengthen the employee's engagement and retention with the organization. So in other words, you as the manager are having conversations with your individual employees one-on-one about why they continue to show up for work every day and what might be leading them to think about going elsewhere.
Now, y'all, that sounds maybe not very exciting. It sounds a little boring, but honestly, I'm a huge huge fan of state interviews. They're one of my favorite things. HR can conduct them as well, not just the managers. And they're really, really, really fun.
They can be, yeah. And I think that this was an interesting point from Richard Finnegan's book, because I hadn't really thought of this, because I did always think about it being HR conducting these, because oftentimes you want them to be able to speak freely, and sometimes they won't do that in front of their manager. But I thought he made a good point, which is that you want the manager to be involved because you want the manager to hear it directly from the employee about,
that's huge.
Right? About what is keeping them there or what is making them think about leaving. And sometimes that message can get diluted if it comes through HR as sort of like a third party or grapevine sort of situation.
And then I think a lot of times when it comes that way too, people could start to maybe have a negative tone to it or think that there was a complaint versus, no, this was meant to be positive and proactive.
Absolutely. And the last thing I shouldn't say the last thing, because we're going to talk a lot about Richard Finnegan's book.
Yes.
But one of the other things he recommends, which I thought was very vital, is that anyone who is conducting a stay interview should experience one first. So the way he described it is it starts at the top. So the people in the C-suite level have stay interviews with each other or whatever structure makes sense. And then it filters down so that you as a manager, before you ever conduct a stay interview with one of your employees, have been the recipient of a stay interview where you have had to explain to your supervisor why you continue to stay with the company.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things in my investigations courses that again, you know that Julie and I always talk about role playing because it does become muscle memory. But one of the things that I tell people is if you haven't sat in the hot seat before, if you haven't experienced someone asking questions, role play. Because even though you know it's your role playing, there's something about when people are asking you questions and they're drilling you, you start to feel like, oh my goodness, why are you asking that or talking like that? And then it allows you to have a better perspective when you're the one asking the questions. So again, a whole different topic that we could get to, but I do love having people experience it before they actually engage in the process of conducting them themselves.
Indeed. So let's talk a little bit more about what a stay interview actually looks like. So, Trish, what's one thing you can tell us about what a stay interview should look like?
One-on-one.
And why?
Do we really have to go to the why?
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay. Everybody knows I love the why. The why, I always tell everybody that you need to explain the why. But listen, small groups, you're getting the perspective of other individuals, of other employees, and people will just go, yeah, what they said. Or they'll copy, or they won't say a word. Or worse yet, maybe they'll be fearful to say what they truly think. So what we would want is to focus on an individual person so that you really get to the truth about why they are staying. Or maybe even what is the one thing, I'm going to give you guys one of my favorites right now. What's the one thing one of our competitors could do to steal you away?
Oof.
I know, right? That is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you're explaining the purpose of the stay interview, and that is for leadership or you as a manager to learn what you can do to help the employee stay with the company longer and feel fully engaged with their work. So this has nothing to do, jumping ahead a little bit, but Trish, if you want to say more about it, you can feel free.
Okay.
But this has nothing to do with this particular employee's individual performance. This is what keeps them showing up every day to this job. And if all they have to say is, I need the money, then you've got some work to do.
I don't even know what to say. Because seriously, if someone says that, oh boy. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not all you have to offer.
Julie, I really, truly do not know. If someone said that, I would cry. I mean, I would have to go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just skip that one?
Yeah, you don't have to say anything now.
Okay.
You may come back to it.
I'm going to come back to it because that really hit me. I'm going to answer something else and let myself think about that for a little bit.
Well, and the only thing I would say is we have all had those jobs where it's just the job that gets us through.
Well, yes.
And there are those jobs, but as we will talk about more in this episode, that's not necessarily who you are having a stay interview with.
Ooh, that's a very good point.
So we will get to that later. But Trish, why don't you talk about something else that should be an element of a stay interview?
How about doing it and giving enough time?
Oh.
Yeah. So Julie and I are always saying, help your employees feel respected or valued, etc. How valued would your employee feel if you're conducting an interview, a stay interview, and you're having this conversation with them, and all of a sudden you go, okay, well, thanks, our time's up, and you just interrupt them. So I understand that we are all very, very busy, but I can guarantee you that conducting these, it doesn't just help you understand where you're falling short. It also allows you to focus on where that employee wants to go in the future. It allows you to create development plans. It allows you to create engagement. So there's so many benefits to these. So even though you think you don't have the time, let me promise you, you do. Because otherwise, that person's going to leave and you're going to have to hire and maybe rehire and rehire. So you don't want to get sucked into that particular downward spiral. So save enough time.
Yes. And to your point, always just add extra time because you know how it is. If you book, I think we get really tied to time frames. Like Teams automatically sets every meeting up for an hour. So then we think it has to go an hour. Well, it doesn't. But if you set it up for an hour and it only takes 30 minutes, somebody's going to be thrilled to have 30 minutes of their time back. You set it up for 30 minutes and somebody talks to you for an hour, now they're stressed out. So allow for extra time. And if you don't need it, that's great. But you want to give people the time to, number one, there's going to be a couple moments of awkwardness where they're like, can I really say what I think here? Or
do you really want to know?
Right, exactly. So you got to get through all of that sort of like initial, I don't trust this yet, So you got to get through that. Then they might start to open up. And to Trisha's point, you don't want to be like, oh, I am so sorry. This is a great conversation, but I got a meeting I got to get to. So
the worst.
Err on the side of scheduling more time. If you get done early, that's great.
Yeah, there's nothing more disrespectful than having a meeting with an employee and first of all, not listening to what they have to say, but then second of all saying, oh, sorry, someone else is ready to talk to me. Gotta go, bye.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Especially if you started off going, so I really want to hear what you have to say. But I have to go.
Right.
That did not work. Just saying.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so another thing about the stay interviews is that they should be done at regular intervals. So you're not going to do them every quarter. You're not going to do them like one right after the other. But you do want to do them at sort of regular intervals. So that could be depending on your industry, your company, your culture, whatever fits. But you might do them after somebody has completed a year of employment, maybe after 3 years, maybe after 5 years, or you might break people up so you don't have to do them all at once. So if you've got a team of 20 people, maybe you do 5 in quarter 1, 5 in quarter 2, 5 in quarter 3, because we understand these things take time. It's time well spent, but you also need to be judicious about how you allocate that time. So you can split it up however you want, but just make sure that you are making the time at regular intervals and getting that sort of feedback.
Okay, that was amazing. But now I have to drop a truth bomb on everyone. Are you ready?
I don't know. I managed to say the word judicious without
I was
stumbling
really
over it.
impressed. So, yes. 15%. I want you all to listen to me very, very closely. This is separate from performance. This is not part of your evaluation process. What we are talking about here is you having an actual conversation. Remember those conversations we talk about all the time? Yeah, and again, by the way, your employees aren't going to do this if you haven't created that safe space. So first you need to create that safe space. And then second, you need to start having these, because what we're asking you to do is ask them what's going to keep them. What could cause them to leave? This is about wanting to retain those employees that are bringing something to your company that maybe no one else could offer. Or maybe someone could, but why would you not want to keep the wonderful person you have in front of you? And so understanding their perspective and the things that could cause them to leave. Maybe it's the work-life balance. Maybe for them it is pay. Maybe it's that they don't feel respected. If you don't know those things, you don't know how to fix them.
Truth bomb.
Yeah, we have a lot of those in this episode. I have a funny feeling.
Also, as a manager, you have to be prepared to have some truth bombs dropped on you, because they may say it's the way that you manage. It's the team dynamics. It's things that are within your control. And you have to be able to hear that without getting defensive or defending yourself, because this isn't the place to do that.
No.
Even if you think that the employee is completely out of bounds about what they are saying, this is not the place. So in these stay interviews, your job is to listen. Listen. 3 times. It's always 3 times. It's always 3 times.
Yes.
So no matter how hard it is to hear what your employees are saying, your job is to listen and to hear, which I think is the bigger point.
Yes.
Because oftentimes we listen, but we don't hear.
Agreed.
So you want to hear what they are saying, and you may need time to process it. And some of it you may find to be not completely valid, and other things you may, upon reflection, be like, yeah, I could probably do a better job about that.
Yeah.
But as a manager, that is part of this process. And so through these stay interviews, you may hear things you do not want to hear, but that's okay.
I'm going to do a shameless plug. With the new courses that Julie and I have, well, they're not new. We've had them for a long time. We're just updating them and releasing online versions. One of the courses that we have is emotional intelligence. And part of that emotional intelligence course is actually being able to hear these things and not react from that emotional or negative perspective. Being able to pull yourself back, think about and sit in that conversation, and then respond from a calm and professional manner. Because if you react, you've asked them, what is your true feelings? If you react and you start defending or you start switching blame or something like that, well, now you have no longer created a safe place. You have done exactly the opposite of what you intended to do. And so I would highly, highly recommend for those of you who are like, nope, I can't do this. Just sit with that course, try that course out, or even if you are not ready to take the course, do a little investigating on what emotional intelligence is and how it could benefit you when people are saying things that maybe aren't going to feel very good.
For sure. And I think it's important to note that that is human nature.
Oh, yeah, for all of us.
None of us like to hear criticism.
Nope.
And I certainly have been in that boat, and I have learned to do exactly what you're talking about. If somebody says, you know what, the other day you said this and I just wasn't quite sure how to take it, or it made me feel this way, or whatever the case may be, I have taught myself to be able to sit and say, okay, well, that certainly wasn't my intention. I can see why you thought that. Yep, maybe I didn't show up as my best self,
Yep.
or just saying, I hear you. I need a little bit of time to think about that, but I do want to circle back. And I appreciate that you had the courage to tell me.
Bingo.
Something that was probably really hard for you to tell me.
And for those of you who work with friends, we do have an episode on that because, Julie and I have been friends for, longer than we haven't. Yeah. We're just going to say it that way. And we have had to have some of these difficult conversations, not just as friends, but also, this is a professional environment. When we work together, we need to be able to trust each other and share things and know that the other one isn't going to get offended and maybe even take advantage of the friendship. And so in all areas of my professional life and in my personal life, being aware of my emotions has most certainly benefited me.
Do you love news about LinkedIn, Indeed, Google, and just about every other recruitment tech company out there?
Hell yeah. I'm Chad.
I'm Cheese.
We're the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
All the latest recruiting news and insights are on our show.
Dripping in snark and attitude.
Subscribe today wherever you listen to your podcasts. We out.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits of stay interviews. So this is from that Gallup article that Trisha referenced earlier. And again, we will put the link in the show notes. But one of the benefits is that stay interviews can boost positivity and trust. So if they are done right, again, you do not want to just slap these things together or walk into a room and be like, so why do you stay here? Why you keep coming back every day? You want to be prepared. You want to have your questions. You want to do the same questions for each person you're doing a stay interview with. But when they are done right, they help employees feel appreciated and valued, two of our favorite words.
Yes.
As human beings, not just employees. And then you are showing that, again, if you can sit there and receive criticism about your practices or how you manage or about the company or anything that you might be sensitive about, if you can sit and hear that from employees and not react in a negative way, that will help build trust with your employees that they can actually come to you when they have a problem. And that is really, really vital.
Huge. Yeah. And by the way, the problem may not be with you. It may be with the company.
Right.
But even if it is with the company, you don't want to defend the company either. And you don't want to agree that the company sucks, FYI.
Right. There's a happy medium.
Yes. So I think one of my favorite things about the benefits is that it really does allow managers and employees to take control of their own role when it comes to improving their experience. I think this is vital. A lot of times people will sit back and think there's nothing I can do. This is out of my control. And they don't realize that it absolutely is within their control. First of all, they could leave. And that is what we're trying to prevent, right?
Right.
But getting that message out there that both parties or all parties are, in fact, responsible for the employee experience or the employment experience, I think that places ownership in both on both sides of the court, so to speak. And so it's okay, let's you were talking in one of our other episodes about passing the ball, right? So I'm thinking more of a tennis court, thinking, okay, I'm going to hit it. This is what I'm thinking. And then the employee comes back with, this is what I'm thinking. And then vice versa. So you keep going along that path. And then all of a sudden, you figured it out.
Yeah. And, everybody likes to have some sense of control.
Right.
So if you can give that to people, that's a gift.
Exactly.
One of the last benefits that we'll talk about, which may not seem like a benefit off the bat, but stay interviews can expose triggers. So they can help you as the manager or the HR professional identify unforeseen challenges and barriers that could lead to a more satisfying employee experience. So if you do develop that trust that we were talking about, and you can actually get your employees to open up about what might be leading them to leave, and you can identify those things, then you may have the power to change them. Now, not everything's going to be within your control, but sometimes even if you can just acknowledge, yeah, I hear you. You're right. That's a problem. I don't know how quickly we can fix it, but I am committing to you that I'm going to try to do what I can. That can be really powerful and could get somebody to stick around a lot longer. So exposing those triggers is really important because, again, a lot of times what we're talking about with these stay interviews is those employees you really, really, like if they came in and said, I'm turning in my resignation, you would be like,
crushed.
Oh, God. Yeah, I was going to say something else. A little bleep out, Yeah. Crap. Okay. So those employees, those are the ones we're talking about that you're having these conversations with where you're like, oh my God, if you told me you were leaving, I would be devastated. Yes. And it would be a big loss. So
are you talking about me?
Yeah, of course I'm talking about you.
Yay.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah.
But those are the ones that you want to know what those triggers are. So,
sure.
And again, for the most part, it is never money. Money is the last thing. So
typically, yes.
Most people will stay, even if they could get a job paying more. If they like where they are, they like their manager, they feel like they're being valued and appreciated, they feel like they're getting development opportunities, all of those things, they will stay for less money. But if all of those other things aren't adding up, and then they get offered a job for more money, they're like, peace out.
Yeah. And Julie, I want to just piggyback off of what you said. So incredibly important. But there's something that's even more important. You have to actually create action to remove those barriers. If someone tells you that these barriers exist, and then you go, oh yeah, that really sucks, or that's really terrible, and then you don't do anything about it, how valued is that person going to feel?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So create some action plans. And look, y'all, we understand you may not be able to do anything. You may not be able to do anything at the moment, but acknowledge what they said. Tell them that you're going to work towards a solution. And maybe even, if it's possible, why you can't offer a solution immediately.
Yes. Okay, so you may still be wondering, so how do I conduct a stay interview? So let's talk about some of the questions that you could actually ask your employees. So, Trisha, what's one of your favorite questions to ask?
Well, I think I told you guys one of my favorites, which is if one of our competitors could get you to leave, what is the one thing that they could do to steal you away from us? The reason that is my favorite is it kind of it gives them an out. It gives them an out because they don't feel like, oh, now I'm not saying anything bad about the company. This is a safer way to say it. And so they could say, well, they could offer me X or Y or Z. And then you can kind of delve further into it. So that is by far one of my favorite questions.
Yeah, I think that's a great one.
Yeah.
And as you're asking these questions, they should be open-ended because, again, you are
please,
supposed to be
yes.
listening 80% of the time. So you want to ask those open-ended questions. But another one could be something along the lines of, what are you learning here and what do you want to learn? Or maybe a different way to say it is, what other jobs here interest you? Because that could be a way to find out what other roles this person is interested in, what their aspirations are, and just if they see any opportunity for growth within the organization, which is an important thing for keeping people, for retaining people.
Absolutely. One of my favorite questions on the very first day when someone joins a company, where do you see yourself with us in a year or 5 years? They usually look at me, and I tell my classes this all the time, like I have like 3 or 6 or 10 heads. But then once they've been here, and hopefully you guys are doing like some sort of a 30, 60, 90 onboarding or even up to 180. And then at that point, I will ask them again. And because I've planted that seed, usually they can come up with an answer. So now imagine if you add the stay interview from the manager on top of that, they go, holy smokes, they actually really meant this. They want me to grow with the organization.
Yep. I also like, and this is a little bit of a harder question, a little bit more delicate, but when is the last time you thought about leaving us and what prompted it? So again, it could be a truth bomb that you get in response to that. But it's an important question because we all have those moments. Like we've all been contacted by a recruiter or, seen a job posting for something and thought, because in our heads, everything is perfect.
Oh, of course.
Someplace else, the grass is always greener on the other side. As green as that green apple buzzball.
Which we're going to get into shortly. Relax. Hold.
But I think it's an important question because that will tell you something, which is if there really is a challenge or an obstacle or something that's going on that is having people try to run for the doors, you need to know about it.
I love that one so much. Getting them to think about what Julie and I have talked a lot about gratitude and getting people to shift their focus towards gratitude. So asking them questions that will do that is also a wonderful way to approach it. So what do you look forward to each day when you commute to work? This one also comes from that article Julie mentioned. And I have actually never asked this question, but now I think I'm going to include it because I think it's fantastic because it really, really does focus on that gratitude issue that we've talked about before. Other ways to say it, give me an example of something that you look forward to each day, or tell me more about your favorite daily activity here at work. What do you look forward to the most? And I think that really helps. Again, you can turn the tide if someone is starting to, maybe they have kind of started to focus on that negative. By asking that question, you can really focus more on the positives and the gratitude. So that one is going in my toolbox. That was one of my favorites from this article.
Absolutely. And I think, 2 things on that. One is, it is human nature to focus on the negative. They say that it takes 20 positive comments or maybe it's 10, whatever. I'm not a math person. I'm a lawyer. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it takes a lot of positive comments. It takes a lot of positive comments to outdo one negative comment.
Yes.
Because that is where our brains go. So we do have to help people focus on the positive. It is very easy in a workplace. We've all been there, where everybody is a negative Nelly or a Debbie Downer, Or why are they all women's names? We're going to have to change that.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I like that.
A David Downey.
I was going to say a Dan Downer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, but it can
Shout out to our friend Dan,
Yes.
Deborah's husband. You've all met Deborah.
Yes. It can be very easy to focus on the negative. So if we can help them figure out what the positive things are that they are, why they keep showing up to work. Because hopefully some of those are other than because I need the money, as we said. So
The worst one ever.
Right. So we want to think about that. One of my other favorite questions, because this does help build that trust relationship, is for the manager to say, how can I best or better support you?
That is actually one of my favorite questions. I have to give a shout out. I know I'm totally interrupting you, but I have to give a shout out to one of my former attendees and his favorite saying, and we'll ask this whenever he has the opportunity. How can I best support you today? Or how can I help you succeed today?
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally stole it from him. I use it all the time now.
Well, thanks to random person in Trisha's class.
Yeah, I don't want to call him out specifically. He knows who he is.
He knows
listens.
who he is.
He listens.
You're a rock star.
He is. He's totally a rock star.
Okay. So any other questions that you really like for a stay interview?
Let me think here. I know I have a bunch of them that I usually ask. Oh, you could even kind of going off of what you just said. What can I do to make your job better for you?
Or easier.
Or easier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I know we said we were focusing on the positive, but I also think it can be helpful to ask, what really frustrates you?
Why do you stay?
Well, why do you stay? But also, what really frustrates you? So, oftentimes those are fixable things because they tend to be either logistical things, bureaucratic things, things that hopefully we can eliminate.
Yeah.
But just asking that question and giving people the freedom to say, oh my God, you know what frustrates me is that every time I go to log into this program, it takes me 5 tries.
Oh, that's a good one.
We all have things saved in a different drive, or I can never find the form that I need, or, those sorts of things that really do suck up a lot of your time on a day-to-day basis. And if we could eliminate those things.
This department never answers my emails until I include the manager.
Right. Which that is a topic we should include for another podcast, which is interdepartmental cooperation.
Check.
That sounds like a Harry Potter thing.
Oh my goodness. All right. We're not going down the Harry Potter road. She and I will both get, no.
Okay.
I want to give you guys just a couple more of my favorites. These do not come or did not come from the article. So some of my favorites that I have, do you feel respected by me as your manager?
Mm-mm.
I know, right?
That could be a truth bomb.
It could be. Or do you feel respected by your peers?
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That one, as you mentioned, really, really can be dangerous. But I think it's very important. Or do you feel valued by? Those are, I think, some of, like you said, they could lead to some negative answers. But those are a couple of my absolute favorites because I think you really get down to the nitty-gritty. We want people to feel that they have been heard. We want people to feel that they're valued. And if they don't feel valued or respected or heard by their peers, by their manager, by their supervisor, or direct skip level managers, there could be a really big issue there. And so I think just asking that simple question or asking those in multiple different ways. Now, if you guys will notice, I said one thing and then I expanded on it in 3 separate ways that were all very similar. Sometimes people aren't necessarily comfortable answering a question. If you ask it and change it just subtly or just a little bit, all of a sudden they go, oh, wait a minute, that actually resonates with me, and they'll respond. So I like to ask those, and I like to ask them in multiple different ways, like I said.
Yeah, or if you get nervous in situations like this or conversations like this and you don't know what to say, a great fallback is, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
Like I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. Tell me more.
I love that.
That's a great one. It's easy. It can be your fallback for everything. But it opens the conversation to them telling you whatever it is that they feel they need to tell you.
I'm going to piggyback off of that again. One of my favorite things is addressing something to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand when people come at me with complaints. I'm sorry. I know that may sound mean, but I don't like complaints. I want you to come at me with solutions. Now, in this case, we are asking them for those complaints, right? But what happens if we say to them, once they have given them the opportunity to share their feelings, if we say, so how would you fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yep. Well, so truth bomb. Ready?
Ready.
Every negative comment is the potential for a positive path forward.
Wow. That really is a truth bomb. See, we need a note to Gray and Chris. Drop bomb sound here. Just in case Julie's didn't get the point across, which I actually think it did. So never mind. Forget it.
Well, and here's the thing. So I agree with you 100%. I love it. And I was told that very early on in my legal career. If you're going to come at me with a problem, come at me with a solution as well. Yeah. And I do fully appreciate it when people do that.
I sense a but coming.
There is a but. And I think that is that a lot of people haven't learned that yet. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to also teach them that. So this is a coaching moment as well. But it's really on us anyway, because if there are employees and it's not their job to figure out the solution.
Oh, good point.
Then that's on us as the manager or leadership or whatever the case may be. So, but that is an opportunity to teach them. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I loved your question. If you could fix it, how would you fix it? Because then think about if you actually take even part of what they tell you.
That's what I'm saying.
As the solution,
exactly.
Right? But you give them some ownership, which we talked about earlier, some control over the situation. But you also are showing them, hey, this works a lot better if you come to me with a solution in mind versus just griping.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about some more tips and tricks. So you had talked about you got to be prepared to take action because you can't just ask people for feedback and then not do anything with it. And
yeah.
We have talked about that probably ad nauseum, but that's all good because it's true. Ad nauseum. It's true. So one of my other tips would be when an employee tells you that they are thinking of leaving, don't doubt them. So if they
think they're fibbing?
No. If they are courageous enough to come to you and say, you know what? I'm at my wit's end. I just can't anymore. Believe them.
Yeah.
Because they're probably at their wit's end at that point. And do not just write it off as them having a bad day. Make time. Sit down with them and say, tell me what is going on. Tell me how we can fix it. Let's figure it out. Because you are valuable. I want you here. I need you here.
Ooh, I need you here.
I feel like Jerry Maguire. You complete me. You cannot leave.
Another throwback reference.
Sorry, I know we are old, but that's okay.
We are.
That's okay.
But Julie, you actually got me thinking, what if someone doesn't tell you, I'm fed up, I'm ready to be out? There may be signs or cues other than just, I'm going to leave. So I want to throw out there to everybody, like, look, if there's been a change in attitude recently, or maybe they're taking some time off that was unexpected, they just don't feel as engaged with you or the team or your general processes, don't be afraid to ask them if they are okay or if they need anything from you. I will throw out a caveat, a warning, let's put in a siren here. If they start talking about FMLA issues, or if they start talking about health issues, if they start talking about anything like that, do not pass go. Do not collect $200 because we're going old school today, right?
Yep.
Go straight to HR. Stop them immediately. Tell them, I appreciate that you trust me so much that you're willing to share with me this information. However, for your safety and mine, this conversation needs to be handled with HR.
Yes. Amen.
Oh, whoa. That's like dropping a mic.
Yep. Okay. So another thing I'm going to say is that if an employee mentions perhaps issues with coworkers, issues with team dynamics, or other things like that, you may want to get HR involved, or you may want to talk to other people to see if that is a general consensus or if that might be unique to this one person. And the reason I say that is because I had a situation recently where we, thought that this one particular manager was rocking it and everything was going well. Now, this manager had expressed some issues and had even asked to be demoted, which is a huge red flag, right? Like something's going on.
Yeah.
And so we did start having conversations with this person. And then she did end up quitting. But once that person was gone, we had conversations with the other people and realized it was a much more complex situation than we anticipated. And so I normally would not say this because you should be able to trust your management level employees that they have a good grasp of the situation. But if somebody is really saying that it is based on the team dynamics or that there's issues going on within the department, it probably would be helpful to get some other perspectives so that you can better evaluate whether it is a singular view, whether it is a global problem, or what exactly is going on. Because we learned a whole lot once we started talking to more people that gave us a very different perspective. And so I'm not saying doubt your employees, but I'm saying trust but verify.
Yes. Well, and I think that, I mentioned earlier investigations. I think that that's a really good point where like some of these questions can be used in investigations too. If there's something, again, this is now specifically focused more on HR, but if you as an HR employee realize that there's something more going on and nobody's willing to talk, nobody's come forward with a complaint, or even better yet, they've come forward with a complaint, but it's completely anonymous.
Yeah,
and they say, my department, my manager, and you have 100 managers and how many departments? Probably at least 100. And so you're trying to figure out what it is. Stay interviews are very helpful from that perspective as well, because we may be on the hook if someone's given us notice, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only other thing that I have to say is, I mentioned it before, but you want to do these stay interviews at sort of regular intervals But you can think about what makes the most sense for you. So obviously you don't want to do these all the time because then people will be like, why do you keep asking me why I'm still here? Like, are you
there a reason?
Right? Are you being passive aggressive? Are you really telling me to leave? Right? We don't want that. But there could be, and again, it may be dependent on the culture at your particular organization, the flow of your industry, whatever it is. But maybe you want to do them at the end of year 1, at the end of year 3, at the end of year 5, and then again at 10. Like you don't, at a certain point, you don't have to keep asking people, but you want to do them often enough that you're catching problems before they become obstacles that you can't overcome.
Oh, I like that. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah. So, and I would say, as Trisha was talking about earlier, anytime you see a distinct change in a particular employee's behavior, demeanor, performance, output, whatever it might be, that's a great time to have a stay interview. Because oftentimes that's the first sign, is they become disengaged. All of a sudden, they're just not themselves. It's like these very subtle signs. And I think we have been conditioned not to ask people about that, to give people their space, which I agree in most circumstances. But I don't think anybody is typically offended if you just ask them, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Or is everything okay?
Is there something I can do?
Right. Like I just sort of noticed you don't seem yourself.
Right.
Is there something I can do? Can I better support you? That question.
There's our question.
Like there are easy ways to open up the conversation.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point of a stay interview, is to open up the conversation. And the other thing that I will say, this was a great point from one of the articles, which again, we'll have them in the show notes, is when you're having these stay interviews or these kind of more intimate conversations with employees, you don't have to do it in your office. Invite them out for coffee,
Huge.
right?
Yes.
Or say, hey, would you like to take a walk at lunch? Like, let's take a walk. Like sometimes if you're side by side or corner to corner, but not like across from each other, you're not in your HR office or your manager office where you're the boss and they're the underling, it can really open up the conversation where you're more equals and you're walking side by side and having that conversation, or you're sitting over coffee and having that conversation.
But let them know ahead of time that that is the plan so that they don't get like all of a sudden, oh my gosh.
I'm getting fired today.
Yeah, they invited me on this walk because, right, give them a heads up like, hey, I want to have this conversation. And I think it would be fun to have it over coffee or while we walk so that we can really just relax and be ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that there was something else that you mentioned that I think was really, really important. And that is, you don't have to have these with everyone. Now, we want it to be
inclusive,
but it doesn't really need to happen with everyone. But if you are having them, can I say it one more time, Jules? Really be listening. Turn off your cell phone, close your computer, do not answer the phone. Actually listen to what those employees are saying. Otherwise, that employee that may have been just fine all of a sudden says, you know what? That stunk. They weren't caring or they didn't listen. And now they're thinking they want to go too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's get back to our buzz balls.
Okay, so y'all don't know this, but in the middle, we switched from the strawberry to the green apple. And I'm thinking, Julie, the green apple is not your cup of tea?
It's a lot.
It really is like sucking on a Jolly Rancher.
With I don't know, some sort of aftertaste. No offense to the buzzball lady, woman owned, love ya. But yeah, it's vivid.
It's vivid. Yes, it has quite a vivid taste.
It looks like a Jolly Rancher.
Yes.
Faux show.
Yeah. Tastes like a Jolly Rancher.
It does taste like a Jolly Rancher, but it's got an extra punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, the strawberry and the peach are my absolute favorites. They have several great flavors. I would say the green apple is not my favorite. I don't have. It's a little sweet, I think, is what it is for me. For me, it's a little sweet.
You know what it is?
What?
Okay, here's a little insight into Trish and I's younger days.
Yeah. Can we cut it right here, please?
So we used to spend a lot of time on Put in Bay. For those of you who don't know what it is, look it up. Anyway, the house that we used to stay in, do you remember when we found the apple pucker that had been there for God knows how long and it tasted
years and years.
Dusty?
And years. Yes.
Okay, so I'm not saying the Buzzball tastes dusty, but it definitely tastes like apple pucker. And I'm having flashbacks, and that may be why I'm traumatized.
Oh, that would make total sense. And then I would say, shout out to Grammy and Grandpa.
Oh, shout out to
Grammy and Papa.
Yeah, Grammy and Papa. Yes. And on that note,
we need to end this one. Yeah. So we hope you guys have enjoyed our tour back into our young lives, as I think we've captured several of those. I will say to you, thank you as always for tuning in. We do appreciate you. If you do have any suggestions, like the Buzzballs, something really different but still wine-based, please let us know. Follow us on social. And Julie?
Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And cheers!
Cheers.